Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest join us. Check him out on Ringer Tailgate. Also, check him out on the press box. And I hope he wasn't on camera by the time that, Joel Addison, has this become your thing now?
This is my signature move.
This wasn't always the case. Let me tell you, I peeped what's happened here with my good buddy Joel. And look, we're gonna talk about James Harden. We're gonna talk about a few other things, right? But one thing that I have noticed, and I have to keep in mind, this Ringer Tailgate show, I think, is the first opportunity that you've truly had to be not simply on camera, but to be an on-camera personality.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? Like, you've done your stuff, you've done your slow burn, you've done other things, but you've been there to be a serious person doing serious things. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that your job isn't serious, but I'm saying the vibes of this are, look, you next to a dude with a cowboy hat on. You understand what I'm saying? And, and they have shared with the world what we have always known here on The Right Time, which is that you're a touch of a weirdo, right? And you get a touch, Joel. Joel, you've spent the last week arguing with your coworker about whose dad could beat the others up.
My dad beat the brakes off his old man, but okay.
Dead dad, I'd like to point out.
He brought that up, not me.
But
so
all I'm saying is this: as you have become a person who is now a bit of an on-camera, out front personality, you're figuring it out, and quite often part of figuring it out is going through gimmicks of sorts until you get to another space. And somehow you've decided that your gimmick is that you go raise the roof in 2026.
This is so disrespectful.
What is disrespectful about it? It's exactly what I'm telling you.
You get a little bit of touch of fame, and now you...
I'm saying to somebody who's been here, I know how it goes. Like, this is part of the process. And you're not going to keep doing that shit forever. But for right now, as you sift through things, right now, you are adhering to your insistence. You no longer want to publicly be identified as the fastest 10-year-old in America in 1988.
Oh, no, I'm fine with that. I'm still good with it.
Now you want to be the inventor of raising the roof. You're like little fucking Richard, who showed up at every award show to remind people that he the OG of the OGs.
Are you bringing that up because B-Dot called Westside Gun Little Richard on Twitter today or something?
I had no idea that this happened.
Oh, Westside Gun did not take it very well, by the way.
What kind of Little Richard was he calling him?
Well, B-Dot was talking about how, the J. Cole, DJ Clue thing, and there's a couple, the rappers are getting back into the mixtape vibe. And he's like, well, I want to see more of that. And Westside Gun was like, well, basically, I've been doing that. People hadn't given me my respect for it. And so B-Dot was like, well, you sound like Little Richard. I want my credit. I want my credit.
And Westside Gun was not able to appreciate the nuance of the statement? Or did he get the nuance of the statement and still didn't like it?
He said something to the effect, on my soul, when I see you in person, I'm going to hurt you.
Okay, I got to say, I am assuming that it's number one that I rolled out, given the fierceness of that. I have thoughts on Westside Gun that I guess I will not offer now.
I wouldn't want to have a misunderstanding with him.
I saw Westside Gun once on the plane train in Atlanta, and it was too late at night for me to holler at him because I had no idea if he knew who I was, and it was really late at night. But Black Thought name checked me on a Westside Gun song. And so Westside Gun.
It's Kabibbles, is that right?
Yeah. I say this though. Here's my thing though, and before we get to the other stuff. In terms of like coming up with a concept, putting the art direction out, titling it, all of that stuff, that man is an honest to God genius, right? Like in terms of taking a vision and applying it, like I could come up with some stuff and then do it. I don't feel like I have that ability to start with just an entire escape. Like I've been better at it at different times in my life, but I look at that stuff he does and I'm like, wow, there's a mastermind behind this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Westside Gun, and I guess what we're not talking about is like how good of a rapper he is, right? But I think that's almost immaterial to me.
Hey,
he's still
Joe.
one of my favorite artists.
Joe.
I love listening to Westside Gun. He's always in my top 5.
Hey, Joe, let me explain something to you right fast that you need to understand.
Okay.
sometimes when we leave the thing unsaid, we don't say that we're leaving it unsaid.
What?
We just do it.
Well, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
In case Westside Gunn sees this, that's something that other people say. I think I love Westside Gunn music. He's always in my top 5 Spotify rap.
Joe,
one of my favorite rappers.
Joe.
Yeah.
I already did the work for you, bro.
Okay, all right. I just wanted some clarity because
I already did the work for you. I want him to know that all you're doing is making it worse.
No, I want some clarity.
I don't think you are. Hey, check this out, right? James Harden. And you know what? I want to be fair to James Harden this time.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure that James Harden asked to be traded.
Okay.
Right? What it sounds to me like what happened, for those of you who don't know, James Harden is now a Cleveland Cavalier. And I don't know what the clubs is hitting on in Cleveland, but I guess he's about to find out. And something tells me it's not going to make him happy. But anyway, James Harden went to Cleveland for Darius Garland, a second-round pick. I forget where the second-round pick went. That don't really matter too much to me. At first, it felt like a classic James Harden. Oh, you're not going to pay me? Well, watch this. And then he got traded. What it sounds more like it was the Clippers were like, hey, James, just letting you know, we're not going to pay you. And they ain't even let it get to the point of James acting bad. They were like, we know where this goes. All right? Don't you worry, partner. We gonna figure something out for you. Like, hey, I know, yeah, we know what that means, James. We know what that means. And now James is going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this is my question. Because on one hand, it makes perfect sense for Cleveland. They got a significant construction problem, or roster construction problem, or at least they had, where they had 2 little guards and 2 talls, not bigs.
Right.
Well, James Harden is many things. He is not a small guard. No. He is a tank. All right.
Barrel-chested dude.
Yeah. And you could put him next to Mitchell, and Mitchell can play off guard, like in a way that Kyrie could play off guard when he was playing with LeBron. Like, if Harden decides I'm just going to be the point guard, he can do that. The problem is, we know the last game of the season, James Harden is going to play terribly. Like 5 for 17 with 8 turnovers. He's going to be awful in the last game of the year. And you're going to lose that game, which means you're not going to win a championship, because we got 17 years of this with James Harden. And I'm amazed that, like, do people, because he's such a good player, right? Like, he's not my favorite player. He's Joel's favorite player.
I didn't know.
He's an excellent player. And he has stayed good longer than any of us expected that he would stay good. And in an era where guys have been known to be in and out of lineups, he's played a lot of games at a lot of points with a physically demanding style. He's in year 17. Why they think it ain't going to be the same as it's always been? Do they think it's just mean?
Well, don't you think that's more of a referendum on what they think Darius Garland is going to be? That they say, well, I mean, because on its face, it is kind of ridiculous. You're trading a 36-year-old, 17 years in the league, for a 26-year-old who's, he's borderline all-star and presumably still has plenty of good years in front of him. But, Darius Garland has been hurt. And I wonder if they look at him and they say, well, look, we know that we've capped out on what we can get out of Darius Garland. Maybe James Harden has taken these lessons and these failures in the past and we'll get something different. And they're like, look, Donovan Mitchell is a great big game player. We've got 2 defenders in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, so we don't even have to worry about if he plays defense. So, like, maybe his deficiencies won't matter as much here because we got something for that.
I think Darius Garland's problem is that he's 6'1".
Okay.
And Donovan Mitchell is 6'2".
Right.
Like, you couldn't keep doing that, right? Like, he's been an all-star, right? Like, I don't know if necessarily the Cavs are down on him intrinsically, right, or just the fact that he does not fit with the guys that they have. So I think that's a fair question that you ask. I don't think it's so much an indictment there.
Yeah.
I just look at it, and this is the thing where it gets interesting, because you're right, Donovan Mitchell, pretty good big game player, right? Mm-hmm. But James still gonna find a way, man. Like, you can't even have him around. You can't even let him come to the stadium.
You can stagger the minutes. You can give
no.
You're
not hearing me. You're not hearing me. You can't let James you can't stagger the James and Donovan minutes when you do this, because you need to diminish any possibility that James gets the ball in those games.
James Harden has been terrible in some very notable spots, but he's not always terrible in the playoffs.
Just the last game of the year.
Hey, look, right. You don't. The thing is,
hold on, let me say something right there.
Because he had a good game 7 against Oklahoma City that one time.
Well, yes, but I say, because I want to say something. You're right. He has some big playoff performances. Like when he fell apart at the end of that series with the Sixers against the Celtics, they had 2 games in that series that he won by himself. Like, jump on my back, got it done. That game 7 against Oklahoma City, which, because it was the bubble, nobody's going to remember it. Right. That was a fascinating series, because remember, they had just traded Chris. That was the year after they had traded Chris Paul, and Chris Paul and James do not like each other.
They don't bang each other at all.
And it was looking like another James Harden series. And as I recall, the last play of that game 7 was James Harden reaching up, blocking that shot. And I have never seen James Harden look that emotional on a basketball court. Like, he made the play on defense.
A defensive play. Right.
He made the play to win the series. So it's part of what the thing is about him, is like why I don't get into, like, is he a Hall of Famer? Of course. When you start talking about him in the upper echelon of 2 guards, where it gets tricky is the knowledge that the last game of the season, he's going to be terrible.
Well, does that make him little Karl Malone? Right? I mean, because Karl Malone was definitely a guy that came up short in big moments, right? Never won a championship, but was like dependable, put up lots of numbers, played far longer than you would expect somebody that played that sort of ball.
The most durable player, the 2 most durable players in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
Those 2 dirty motherfuckers, John Stockton and Karl Malone.
Yeah. And don't you, I just like, is it bad to be remembered as sort of Karl Malone? I mean,
yes. Did you, hold on.
I'm not talking about Summerfield, Louisiana.
I wish somebody else was in the house so I could call him over and be like, hey, Joe just asked if it's bad to be called Lil Karl Malone.
Not Summerfield, excluding the Summerfield, Louisiana of it all.
Oh, how about the 18-wheeler of it all? How about the like everything other than the box score?
Yeah, the little Mexican girls,
everything other than the box score.
We keeping it to the box score. And like what you expected them in a big game. And if you keep it to just that part of it, then I think that's not necessarily the worst legacy to have. And I saw James Harden.
It ain't the best one.
It's not. But I saw James Harden talk about this, and he was like, well, look, I had some bad luck. He's like, my peak came during those great Steph Curry teams, those straight Steph Curry Warriors teams. Didn't win during then, which is true, right? Is that not true?
It is true.
They were the only team that had a legit shot at beating them.
But that is not the explanatory variable for why it went bad for James Harden. Because let's say was it 2018? Yes, it was 2018.
Yeah.
I was on the way to Barbados. It was 2018. That's how I remember these things.
Okay, yeah.
I was at the airport on the way to Barbados, the game that Chris Paul hurt his hamstring. It was game 6, he hurt his hamstring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was 2018. All they would have done is gone and played in the finals against LeBron and put up 3 terrible games.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't have mattered who was around. The circumstances seemed to be the problem, not the opponents.
Look, I don't know what to think about that time, because the Rockets were really the only team that gave that healthy Warriors team a run. Right, like they were the only team that ever really had them on the ropes.
Well, I mean, I guess it was only one game with the 2017 Spurs where they were up by 25.
Yeah, who's to say? Right, yeah, the foot.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. The Rockets did their best.
They did their best.
Correct.
They went for it and came up short because Chris Paul's hamstring couldn't hold up, and they fell apart in game 7.
Because, I mean, one thing we know, it's not like you could ever lose with Chris Paul on your team.
I mean, again, I just think a lot of this, because I don't like to, I mean, winning championships are so hard. And so like when
Yes.
people do it, I elevate people who win championships, but I don't really demerit people who don't win, because knowing that it requires so many things to go right for you to win a championship.
So let me throw something at you, because I agree with you. I do think we undersell how hard it is to win one.
Mm-hmm.
However, what do you say about not playing for one? Okay, and Harden, and to be clear, Harden is a weird case because Harden has been to an NBA Finals, but it was as the sixth man on those teams, right? Howard Bryant makes this point about basically every sport. Just about everybody that's one of them dudes has, forget about winning one, plays for one.
Yeah.
Right? So as much as I love Dominique Wilkins,
I was going to say,
didn't even get past the second round. And you could talk about everybody else that was around, but at some point, it was not you. Right? Like, you were not the guy. Best, and especially in basketball, which is typically a best man wins sport. But you go through it. Even Chris Paul, with the shit, we could talk about him. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul was the best player on a team that played for a championship.
Right. Should have won, too.
Yeah. Just about all of them are. Or you get guys that it was never like James Worthy never had the opportunity, for example. But James Worthy ain't in the conversations.
That's a different wing of the Hall of Fame, basically.
Right. Even when we thought Dirk Nowitzki was soft, Dirk Nowitzki had played for a championship.
Right.
Luka Doncic, for all our criticisms of him, has played for a championship. Like, it's going to be interesting with guys like Anthony Edwards when it comes down to it. Are you going to have, especially now as it's a little more random and weird about who gets there, but we're going to ask about him. Have you played for Giannis, whose one ring is taking him a long way, but he got there. He played for one. You know, we can go up and down the line. It's hard to name guys, in truth, who haven't played for one. Patrick Ewing played for one.
Right. I mean, well, what do you think because the thing is, what are we arguing about James Harden? Because I don't think anybody is saying that he is top of the line, top 20 NBA player of all time.
But he has a statistical profile that would make you say that he should be in that discussion.
Absolutely.
And let's say that they had gone to the finals in 2018. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think was necessarily his fault, but he's also not the reason they went. But if they had one in 2018, what would we say about James Harden?
Is he there? I don't think you would put him with D Wade, but I mean, right now we're saying is he the fifth, sixth best two guard all time?
So we're saying all-time two guards. All right, I'm going to try to do this like off top of head, because two guard is a weird position. There haven't really been that many great two guards.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and in no particular order right now, just so people don't start arguing about it.
D Wade, Jerry West,
Clyde Drexler, and James Harden is not as good as Clyde Drexler.
Wow, really?
Clyde Drexler played for it twice before he got to the Rockets. Clyde Drexler was the best player on two teams that went to the finals. Why wouldn't it be Clyde Drexler?
Those were really good ensemble casts that he played with.
But the second best player on that team is Terry Porter.
Yeah, man.
Like, why would you not? Y'all be did you just say Kevin Duckworth?
Man, he was an all-star. Kevin Duckworth made a couple all-stars.
You know why he was an all-star?
Why?
Because he played with Clyde Drexler.
Yeah. Those were some really good teams, man. You ever play with them on NBA Live?
That's fine. Okay. That's fine. But James Harden is not Clyde Drexler.
Man, that's a tough one, bro. I
can't. Clyde Drexler, by the way, who also has a ring.
Who won a ring? He won a ring as the second best player on his team.
Everything James Harden doesn't have.
Man, that's a tough one. I'm not saying that I wholly disagree, but that kind of shocked me that you threw Clyde Drexler over there just like that. Like, I feel that's more of an argument than
I've never seen Clyde Drexler be the reason his team could not go to the NBA Finals.
Man, I mean, people see, the thing is like everything gets washed over, because remember that year, the year that Michael Jordan got to play the Lakers in his first NBA Finals? That was the year that Clyde Drexler was supposed to have gone to the finals, but he played poorly in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, and they lost. And then, like, Michael Jordan.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so there were things that, like, you know, in the way that Michael Jordan regarded him. He's
just tell me about it. Well, that's the way Michael Jordan regarded everybody. But just tell me about the time. Just tell me about the time that James Harden got done. Let me ask you this, because this is where it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You would say that James Harden is a better player than Tracy McGrady.
Oh man!
But I'm saying, I mean, and
he had a better career for sure.
Yeah, but I say that never getting, and that's where it also becomes interesting, because that never getting out of the first round thing is a huge demerit for Tracy McGrady. But Tracy McGrady at his coldest was like, it's almost unfair to anybody to try to compare them to what it looked like when Tracy McGrady played basketball.
Hey
right?
Man, yeah.
But there's no way I can say Tracy McGrady was a better player than James Harden when Tracy McGrady never got out of the first round of the playoffs.
Man, you know, and I covered Tracy McGrady when he was with when he first got to the Rockets, and I mean, they saddled him with some of the worst rosters
they did.
known to man. I mean, bro, he had Clarence Weatherspoon out there, Bobby Sura. Yeah, right. Yeah, the Magic was the same deal. So that was one of the first times that I was like, sometimes it may not really matter how good you are.
Yeah.
You know, when you got to overcome like the deficiencies of your teammates, and no disrespect to those guys, but it was like Tracy McGrady was not playing with like a loaded deck.
Right. Well, let me ask this question also about two guards, because as we've been talking, I've been going through, and off the top of my head, I've not been able to think of another person necessarily to throw in there. But here's a fun question, and it's because we don't actually like treat this man like a serious basketball player. We know he's a serious basketball player, but when we have these discussions, we don't treat him as a serious basketball player. Is Allen Iverson a two guard?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Because I think clearly he is. When they went to the finals.
I mean, Eric Snowman was the point guard.
When he went to the finals, he was the two guard.
He was a two guard.
Would you say that James Harden is better than Allen Iverson?
Oh man, I don't think so.
Oh, let me ask you another one.
God damn.
How much better, because I think most of us would say he was better, but I still ask, how much better is James Harden than Ray Allen?
Well, so I would...
Like, Ray Allen's a tough one to evaluate in these discussions.
By the time he became championship guy, he wasn't the player that he had been earlier in his career. But he was a hell of a player earlier in his career. And then he became the best three-point shooter of all time until Steph took the crown from him, right?
But at the same time, nobody ever won anything. I guess they got one game away from the finals in 2001, but nobody really won anything. Yeah, nobody really won anything, but Ray Allen is their best player.
Yeah, man. The two-guard thing is kind of weird. I don't want to have to pit Allen Iverson versus James Harden. It just seems too hard to think about.
But like historically, the league has had a lot of great ones, a lot of great threes, a lot of great fives. The four became a thing from the 90s on.
Right.
Like your whole list of greatest power forwards, the earliest real candidate that people will have is Karl Malone.
Right.
Right. Like it was just it was a different position back in the day.
Buck Williams could be your four.
That was not a position for people who were good at basketball.
Kermit Washington.
You know what it was? It was the fullback of basketball. Like, sure, there are fullbacks that can run. Sure, there's fullbacks that can catch. Like, Jim Brown was a fullback,
exactly.
Right? Like, they're there, but that's not, there wasn't a high salary cap allocation.
Not a lot of four. And also, like, just as an aside, do you count Tim Duncan as a four? Because I kind of think of him as a five, even though he wants to be a four.
I mean, so the thing was, he was a four until David Robinson retired. And then he was a five. And all the Tim Duncan early career stuff becomes interesting and muddy because they gave him the minutes. They made him that guy. But you go look at the advanced numbers on that first championship team, or even the regular numbers when you prorate it out for minutes, it is clear who the best player on that team still was. And it was David Robinson.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, you go look at some of those numbers, man. Robinson, they cut, like, I think they put him in a position to be good in, like, more concentrated stretches.
Yeah.
But it did great. I mean, David Robinson, talk about a guy that had some terrible rosters.
Oh, my God.
That's the guy that was so cold that, like, that's the one of those that I'm like, he would still be everything if he played today and he just had that one series against Dream.
It just really...
And we'll never let him slide for it.
It really impacted the way we thought about him. He's such a great dude. He was such a great player, man. Like, I mean, he would look great in basketball today. Like,
yeah.
And he kind of... is it crazy to say he kind of was like a Wemby-esque figure?
Well, it's hard to say that because he's not 8 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
But pick your guy, 7 feet tall, could face the basket, could shoot. Like, he would have more range in today's game, just like Olajuwon would have more range in today's game, because that would be the game.
Take one or two more steps out.
Yeah, you would tell that person to do that. And Robinson, see, the thing is, Robinson was like so much bigger than Olajuwon and strong as shit. Just like, that's why those clips of a lot of Shaq just abusing David Robinson, also bad for the reputation, but he was doing it to everybody else.
Absolutely, man. Look, I watched that 95 finals right when the Rockets swept the Magic, and I remember thinking, I was like, man, Akeem can't do shit with Shaq. I was like Akeem did get his numbers off. He was the MVP of that series. Shaq has respect for Akeem that he really doesn't have for anybody else that kind of counts as his peers. But watching those games, and Dream said it later, he's like, I can't do nothing with this guy.
They didn't do that much guarding of each other.
Right.
Because here was the issue for Olajuwon. With those dudes that were just like way bigger than him, Olajuwon would take that step back and then he'd get off the ground so fast that here we go, pitch you a little finger roll, pitch whatever.
Yeah, throw it off.
That's not working with Shaq. Because he's not putting that thing up in the air.
Oh, he's not fading away from the basket. Yeah, right.
Right. He's not. No. Especially at that point, that's year 3 Shaq. Touch was not really in the arsenal.
Nah. But Dream looks so much smaller compared to him. Like when you see those videos of them lined up against each other.
Not even close. He's smaller than all of them.
Yeah. Like Dream 6'10".
We greatly underestimate how not big. He and Dwight Howard, those are the two.
Yep.
Where people don't quite understand. Moses Malone is also on that list too. Moses Malone is a listed 6'10". And have you ever watched a Moses Malone video on YouTube?
Sometimes, not very often, but what happened?
It's the most boring thing that the internet has to offer.
Oh, is it a lot of me bounds?
Look, man, I can't imagine what it was like for an old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like a early mid-30s Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to be like, here we go against Moses Malone, who played like an old man from 17 on, just relentless. And it is a lot of me bounds. He's doing those, but it's just, and there's nothing. But imagine that as a whole strategy, and there's nothing you could do about it.
It's just like a grown man is out here, and he's not going to stop.
And he's a grown man, but he's 23.
Right.
So he has boundless energy.
Yeah, man. Another guy that's kind of lost to time, man. People don't talk about Malone. But I mean, again, Moses Malone's peak was what? 45 years ago, so it makes sense.
Moses Malone, and it's funny, Moses Malone's peak is really like 79 to 83.
Right.
Like in that stretch, you'd say really probably from 81 to 83, he has an argument for 83, he was definitely the best player
in the world.
The NBA. Yeah, best player in the world. And just by, he wasn't no parts of that. Just
That Sixers team too, one of the underrated champions of all time. That was an all-time great team. Yeah,
all-time great. It's like I don't even know if Moses Malone needed a basketball to practice.
he was with the Izzo drills.
If I'm not mistaken, he has the most free throw attempts of anybody in NBA history.
Is that right?
That tells you everything. Or if somebody passed him, it was Karl Malone, right?
Okay.
Like it's everything you need to know. Oh wow, a lot more basketball than I thought. Coming up next, I got a sneaky suspicion that I don't talk about these dudes going back, like these grown men going back to play college basketball. And I love it. We'll be back. Listeners, think back to a first date where you were really interested in someone. You probably asked them important questions like, what are you looking for? Well, the same goes if you're hiring. You definitely want to address key questions first to see if someone could be right for your role. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. When you post your job, ZipRecruiter suggests screening questions to help you hone in on top candidates faster. And today, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter's matching technology immediately finds qualified candidates that check all your boxes. ZipRecruiter recommends screening questions you can easily add to get the highest quality applicants. Ask key questions and hire faster with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We get it. February is full of flowers, candy, stuffed animals, and of course, lots of talk about relationships and dating. And no matter where you are, whether you're married or dating or single or just focusing on you, you're right on time. Therapy can help you find your way and see more clearly where you want to be. An imperfect love life is common, and a little work in therapy can lead to significant progress. Whether it's for individuals or couples, therapy is an opportunity to identify what's getting in the way and help remove any blockers. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and our 12 plus years of experience and industry leading match fulfillment rate means we typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from our tailored recs. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally. And it works, with an average of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. Sign up and receive 10% off at betterhelp.com/Bomani. That's betterhelp.com/Bomani. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite or riding with the underdog, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over, and football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/Bomani to get started.
21 plus and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kansas, Wyoming. Opt-in requirement. Awards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsduel.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
All right, we are back on with Joel Anderson. And so we just had this thing. All right, for those of you who've been paying attention, or haven't been paying attention rather, college basketball has a problem now, which is now that guys are getting paid to play college basketball, it's very difficult to make the argument that someone having been paid to play basketball is a disqualifying factor as to why or why not they should be able to play college basketball. And so we have seen guys who have played in Europe or played in the G League who are now coming back and finding spots on college basketball rosters. And now it's gone to the point where we got a dude who has actually played in the NBA who is coming back to play college basketball.
Wait, Amari?
What did he say?
Amari Bailey? Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
The details weren't important to me. He has played in the NBA, did enough for what I needed here, okay?
Yeah, about right.
Now, Joel says he loves it, and I'm just curious what there is to love about it.
Well,
hold on. Other than the fact that it makes people upset who happen to be people that Joel doesn't like.
How did you know that was a part of it?
Because I know you. That and number two, I just don't think there's anything to love here. Like, what is there to love?
Well, I mean, okay, let me just go back for a second. I mean, a decade ago, people were complaining, man, the one and dones. Nobody wants to be in college basketball anymore. All the great players, they don't stay very long and they leave. And they, and then they created all these other leagues, Overtime Elite, the G League Elite. There was all these other leagues.
G League Ignite.
League Ignite, right? Yeah. LaMelo Ball went over to wherever because they did not want to play college basketball, and people were like, "Man, nobody wants to play college basketball." And even you've talked about the degradation of the quality of college basketball over the course of our lifetime. I fail to see how it's a bad thing for college basketball to have better college basketball players playing it. And so I'm with that. If they're going to get the kind of players that had NBA talent or potential and they want to come back and play, that makes the game more entertaining for me to watch rather than the guys that they had out there. And I think college basketball fans should be grateful that now people want to play college basketball again.
Boy, you sound like a white man. They should be grateful. They should be grateful.
I'm talking to the white folks that they need to be grateful. They need to be grateful that their beloved college basketball has brothers who wants to come back and play for them now. They were complaining about that forever. Oh man, nobody wants to play. They just speed on through. We can't even get attached to these guys. Well, now you got good college basketball players and you complain.
Hold on. You just gave away your own game at the end, right? Number one, I have to give you credit for this. Your ability to construct the most realistic straw man possible.
Stop.
Before chopping them down to the ground is incredible, right? The majority of that time was spent building that straw man. And I understand, by the way, the inspiration behind the straw man. So I'm not acting like you build a straw man completely out of nothing, right? Like there's some carbon in that, right? There's some signs of life in it. But why I feel like, to a degree, what you're talking about is straw man, and I think that you're not that big into college basketball. I think, but this is why, and this is not a you don't get to have no opinion sort of thing, right? But the reason I bring that up and what informs my thinking is the way that I viewed college sports changed so much when I lived in North Carolina because I got to witness two things: what it was like for people to watch 7-win football and enjoy it, like what the experience is of we're always going to be a 7-win football team, right? And this is the space we're just in, juxtaposed against those same people having completely different expectations about what basketball was, but also a place that had and I'm talking right now specifically about Carolina, though Duke fits in this category, and NC State, which has been the equivalent largely of 7-win football just for basketball, right?
Yeah.
People, what they have said that they've wanted, I think, is not simply better college basketball players, because that has absolutely been a part of it. What people have wanted was greater levels of continuity, right? So think about how many of our favorite college basketball players or college basketball players that we reminisce about were not going to be great pros. We enjoyed watching them in part because of the time that was accumulated watching them. A great example, Lawrence Moten, rest in peace, passed away very recently. People our age very much so remember Lawrence Moten. We remember the high socks. We remember all of those things. And he was a very good college basketball player. But we don't remember him because he was going to be a great player in the NBA, right? Like I was watching Get Up before we got in here, and the trivia question was, other than Michael Jordan, who was the other number 3 overall pick from North Carolina in basketball? And the answer was Jerry Stackhouse. And now, granted, Stackhouse was only there for 2 years, but what Jerry Stackhouse was and what he seemed to be as a college basketball player was bigger, in part because the brand of Carolina was bigger. And the truth was, it was about those 2 years. Like when he came in, they were like, yo, he and Sheed and Touche come in and like, oh, he's going to be the next Jordan or whatever it is. It's not just about having good basketball players. There is something to the idea, and I know you're rather cynical about this justifiably, but there is a certain idea around college sports that is completely laid to waste when a dude goes to the NBA and comes back. So, like, I thought it made sense. I had to come around on it. But, like, the guy that had gone to play G League Ignite, but he never made it to the NBA, and then he comes back to college, I think it was reasonable to say that G League Ignite, it's professional-ish, right? But that was not the same as, like, going to the NBA. And even the guy that was in the actual, I think there was one that was in the actual G League. Mm-hmm. And then he decided to come back and was within his window of eligibility.
Yeah.
For his own sake, get your money, right? Because that's the real reason we're in this for, right? These cats ain't coming, like, this isn't exactly Rodney Dangerfield coming back, right? Like coming back to be on the diving team. They're like, hey, man, they out here cutting these checks. If they was cutting these kind of checks before, maybe I never would have left, so forth and so on. Right. But a guy coming back in the middle of, in January, to just wind up on a team like as a ringer, like as a free agent, I don't think that improves college basketball. I don't think improving college basketball is just as simple as like your point was. I don't see how having good basketball players is bad for college basketball. It's sort of like dropping Luka Doncic off would not make college basketball better. That's an extreme example, right? But simply because the guy is better is not going to do it. Like, I think it is cognitively dissonant when it's just like, hey, we just got somebody off the waiver wire the other day, and then he just dropped in here. It may make it better to watch. This is why I brought up the not really being into college basketball. It may make it better if you drop in to watch a basketball game and now you have this better player. But for people who are most dedicated, and I'm not as dedicated as I used to be, but like the people who follow from day one and you grow and you watch a team, you watch players mature and like get to a senior night where you're like, yo, I remember him way back when, or even through the course of a season. A college basketball season is a building, developing sort of thing. I find that to be what makes, if you're going to get into college basketball, because it's not because of the quality of the basketball, but if you're going to get into college basketball, those are the things that you're into. And it just gets a little bit weird when it's just like, hey, man, found this dude from Turkey. He said he could come next week. Well, you know what I mean?
I mean, I get why people embrace and have like reverence for that sort of mythology around college basketball.
But it's not just mythology, though. Like,
it's always been like, I mean, even the guys, like you said, like Stackhouse was only really there for 2 years. Like, it's very few dudes that are like Marcus Fizer, where they're there for the whole 4 years. You know that they're probably got a limited ceiling in the NBA, but they spent their 4 years there. You saw them grow and to become a productive player, and they leave.
I think there's way more of those than you are acknowledging there. I think the national champions over all these years have typically been teams with those kind of players.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. I'm like, what enjoyment does it actually take away from anybody that Alabama has a 6'10" guy coming off the bench who spent a little time in the G League? I don't like. How does that actually affect your enjoyment of the game? That it wouldn't affect mine. And I know you said that I'm not a college basketball fan, and I'm not. I mean, I'll watch the March Madness like the rest of y'all, but I'm a University of Houston fan, and so when University of Houston is good, I get behind that.
And this kind of shit is right up Houston's alley.
Yeah.
Houston is all about, is that right? There's some way we can finagle this?
Yeah, hey man, we can make that work. You want to come through? You know what I'm saying? We got a roster spot for the next 3 months. I would want that. I guess the thing is that I guess I'm just kind of tired of the complaints about college sports, man.
So this is what I notice about you, and I realize, and it worries me when we talk about this. You're not arguing the points no more. You just arguing against the people.
Yeah, well, because I just think that like people there's a cottage industry of just complaining about college sports, and like the players don't have any loyalty, or the players now they're too old, we don't want them in here, or the players are too young and I wish they would stay long enough. Like, it just, the guys that play college basketball, the labor force that is involved, they can never do it right. It's always wrong. Whatever. Either they're not staying long enough, they're staying too long. They're all about money or whatever, all that kind of stuff. They didn't get better. All the motivations are changing. I'm just like, why don't you all just enjoy basketball?
Well,
like, I just like basketball.
Well, let me ask you this question, and I was talking specifically about me. Mm-hmm. You don't think that I am arguing that the players are doing something wrong here?
I don't think you are.
Okay, but So there's a level of the argument that goes beyond that. Because I get you to a degree. Like, I see you give fervent defenses online of AAU basketball that the people that I trust in youth basketball would never dare entertain at this point. Like, I think these systems are broken. And I think that a lot of these discussions are about the systems and not necessarily putting the blame on the players. Like the transfer portal situation. The transfer portal is out of control. Like they've got things that they are going to need to figure out about how this works, because no matter what the reason is, no matter whose fault it is, all these guys left standing with no chairs when the music stops playing becomes its own issue.
Don't you think that's the NCAA's fault, and that is the administrators and coaches' fault?
I agree.
Like, they can do something about that,
right? But acting like it's not ignoring the problem in the name of defending the players, I think is.
What is the problem?
to me, there are a couple of problems. Number one, the advice economy around college football in particular is underdeveloped and leaving players in incredibly vulnerable situations. To me, right now, the biggest problem that is not discussed enough is the fact that a lot of these NIL contracts are entirely one side. I think these players are like, that's the thing that happened with this kid at Duke. Like, if you go look at the quarterback that's going to go to Miami, if you go look at what that contract was, he never had a chance in trying to challenge that. Like, it was very much so all the power in that contract wound up going to Duke. That's a huge problem, but that is also part of the advice economy that I think is being negative toward players. I do think a lot of these guys are being advised just to go try, because look, this is the one chance for them to get money in many cases. And so somebody tell you, we think you can get a little bit more money over here. You might be able to get a little bit more money over there, but this thing is so unregulated that I don't think you're necessarily winning by making these moves in that way. Is it the NCAA's fault? Yes, because at every turn they beg somebody else to solve their problem for them. But it doesn't change the fact that within that construct, it's a lot of people on a lot of sides making a lot of bad decisions. Which, by the way, which is their God-given American right.
Right.
But I would like to find ways that they didn't have to make bad decisions, because they not all getting fucked over by their coaches and getting forced off of their scholarship.
They're not all, but I think that is an underreported and undertold story of this, though. And I think that it is very much in the interest of the power brokers in the sport to make it seem like it's players chasing money rather than the Deions, the Kenny Dillinghams, the Kurt Signettis turning over that. How do you think a team gets good, like, all from one year to the next? Like, they turning over these rosters. Like, when Deion first did it at Colorado, it was just sort of like, wow, they've got like 80 different players this year. Mm-hmm. How did they do that? And he was very clear about what he was going to do it and how he was going to do it, right? That is like kind of the expectation when you bring in a new coach now, that you're just going to turn over a roster, right? So you're putting a whole bunch of guys into the system right now. And I think that is happening a lot and more than people give credit for. I think that, like, if the system was such that college football players didn't have to compete for their spot every year, and my co-host Van Lathan said this on the show. If you are an FBS player, every year you're competing for your spot against everybody else in college football. There's no telling where your competition is going to come from. If you are a middling right guard at Vanderbilt, you have no idea if they're going to buy somebody and come from Florida to take your spot, or maybe somebody from Murray State will come up. There's a good prospect to take your spot. Everybody is sort of on a one-year timeline. And so I just think that, like, yes, is it ideal? No. But I think that, like, there is a way that these teams in the NCAA could change it and make it a more favorable situation for everybody, but they don't want to do that. And I think I think there's an element of them liking this chaos because they're hoping that Trump and the Congress are going to come in and save them.
All right, that's always been the case, right?
Yeah.
But I also think two things can be true at once, right? Which is, yes, there is definitely some roster turnover that is taking place, and there are also questions to be asked about. And this also comes up in the NFL with the discussion of guaranteed contracts, whether you could really have a properly functioning economy of labor in that sport given certain levels of guarantees.
Right.
So much changes so fast. The injury risk is so much higher. And players like getting really good out of nowhere and what comes with that. Like it's not as simple as we would all prefer for it to be, I think is the way that I would put that. But I do agree. Like, Deion came in and told everybody, there ain't gonna be no place for you here. We'll help you cut up your tape and we'll help you send it out. But there's not, it ain't for you here. You're right. That part does happen. I don't think that part is as under discussed as you think it is. I think this is the feeling that I don't get the feeling that people are blaming players. I get the feeling that people are blaming the adults around these players. And I think that that's what all of us are doing, no matter the side. Whether the adults be coaches, whether the adults be whoever the advisor happens to be, wherever it comes from. I don't know how anybody can be expected to get good advice. I think that's because the game is so big and so spread out. So, like, the idea, when you talk about if you're an FBS player, you're competing every year for your spot. You're not just competing against the FBS guys. Trinidad Chambliss is over there at some school that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Like ready to get
Ferris
you.
State. That's right. Yeah.
And all the transferring, to me, what is bad about it is the losers wind up being the players. But you're also right. If you're a quarterback, they looking at another one. There's would you say also, I wonder, there is also to a degree some chicken and egg going on here, right? The coaches are looking because they can get better, but also at the same time, you also got to look because they ain't no telling when this dude might vamp on you.
Right. Well, I mean, like the Duke and the Darian Mensah situation is like a really good illustration of this. They're really mad, man. Miami came in and strong-armed them out their quarterback. They did that to Tulane the year before, and they gonna do it to somebody else to bring somebody else in to replace Darian Mensah, including recruiting over a high school quarterback that I'm certain that they recruited and said, hey, if you don't get a chance, you might get a chance to play. But they're going to bring somebody else in. And so, that is the chicken and egg part of it. And that's why I'm like, if the NCAA and all these coaches and everybody wanted to change this, the dynamics here, they would do it. They could do it.
I agree with that.
It is within their power to do it and to advocate for a better workforce system. But they don't want to do that.
I agree with that. And I also say this one, though. They brought somebody in over me. I don't have no sympathy for that one.
Hey, Doc, that's
the game, right?
I mean, bro, anybody that's an athlete and because they always talk, and this is maybe just another straw man or whatever. Like, kids don't want to compete. Kids want participation ribbons. They don't want to fight. Look, bro, from the time you start playing sports, you know who's better than you. You know what you got to compete against. You know that, like, hey, man, somebody might take my spot. Like, if you're in sport, you're always sort of aware of that. And so, it does suck if a kid they bring somebody in over you, but you know that, like, if you don't perform and this kid is better than me, you also understand coach got to play in.
Well, hold on. I think saying they don't want to compete is a fair hypothesis to explore. And here's what I'm saying. Is anything, man? You don't want to hear some of this, but some of this is real.
Go ahead.
No. But this is the part I do think that you would agree with, and this is not something new. This has gone on for a really long time, which is all this maneuvering to find a place that you can play right now, right? And this goes on in high schools. Hell, this goes on in middle schools. Like, I'm not the starter right now at this place. Okay, well, I'm gonna go somewhere else where they are going to wind up making me the starter. Like, the game is find the path of least resistance in this. Well, there's something to that. Now, there's some schools where you go look at the depth chart, like USC used to be like this. It's going to be 3 5-star quarterbacks on this depth chart, right? And if you are the number 3, but you are a junior and the other 2 are sophomores, hey, I get it. You might need to go somewhere else, right? The days of DJ Shockley sitting behind David Green for 3 years, right?
Man, that ain't gonna happen.
That's gone.
T. Martin.
That's gone. Yeah. But I make the argument for a lot of those guys, and where I think they mess up and they get it wrong, man, you only need 1 year of film, man.
Man.
Like, this idea that you got to go somewhere else in order to get this done.
Yeah, but how am I gonna get my money though?
Well, that is where this. But see, that's where this is a little bit of a black box situation, right?
Yeah.
Is what is the money that you're getting for not, because look, if you, especially with quarterback, let's just talk about quarterback. If you're talking about playing an NFL long game, then that money's the money you need to be thinking about, right? So let's try this. An interesting case in the transfer world was when Jameson Williams left Ohio State and went to Alabama. Yeah. You couldn't blame him, right? He was Ohio State's number 4 receiver.
Yeah.
And he was a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. But if you was like that number 3 Ohio State receiver, I know you're going to get your bag if you just stick around here. I know it's going to work out for you because I seen what they done for these other cats.
Right. But do you know what changes the equation for that number 3 receiver? And I'm not saying this is right or wrong, whatever. Oh man, my receiving coach ain't here no more. My offensive coordinator has changed. I don't know if I have a great relationship with the quarterback that's going to be throwing me the ball this year. Things change. Things are changing everywhere, all around you. Like, it's just like you're not necessarily making a decision just for yourself. You're looking at the situation around you and be like, well, shit, they're going to bring in 2 more 5-stars. Chris Henry Jr. coming in. Somebody else going to be calling plays this year.
So, like, some of that I could get, right? But I would like to know how many of these cats is rolling somewhere else for, like, another $100,000.
Yeah, man.
And I would say that in many cases, and And it's easy for me to say because I don't need that money.
Right.
But at the same, but that's not for the kid. That money that I need the money is not for the kid. You understand what I'm saying? Like there appears to be a short-sightedness in some of the decisions that are being made on all sides.
I need all my bills paid right now. And my mama might need all her bills paid right now. And I may not be able to bank on waiting 8 years into the future where I can make my second contract. Like you have a finite amount of time to take advantage of all this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
but I'm telling you right now, but these boys that we are talking about in large part, all of them are leaving a place that is giving them enough money to pay those bills that you described to go to another place.
Yeah,
and some of these cats is going from and of their own volition. Some of them, not all, but some of them are going from being able to pay their mama's bills to not being able to pay their mama's bills on the basis of a bad decision. And so that's why I say this has become professional sports, but these are not pros. And the people advising them by and large are not pros.
Man, I hear you on that. And I know that you come from a good place with this because you've also had experience with these kids on like a really intimate level. Like you've worked with college kids at that level. But man, we just don't worry about tennis players, golf, 18-year-olds.
Because they're already rich.
Why are we? I mean, I just feel like it's kind of like patronizing.
Hold on.
All this time worrying about 18 and 19-year-olds.
You asking me why I would worry more about the boys that play football than I would worry about the boys that play golf?
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Do you really believe that coaches, like the college football coaches, have a better sense and are more invested in the kid than the people that are around this kid and have brought them up and have spent money for them to do quarterback training, go to this camp, go to this camp? I mean, like,
no, I don't. But I'm not arguing. But I'm not arguing against the coaches. I'm arguing against the point.
I mean,
like I'm telling you, the advice economy around this is shaky.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. There are guys in the NFL who don't have good agents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and that. So who the hell you think is advising these kids?
That's a great point. But that is a problem of life, not necessarily of, because the transfer portal has done this or anything. Or because
but we're here now.
Yeah.
Like that's I think that on all sides of it, no matter who we're talking about, if you stop arguing the side and look at where we are, there's enough to go around. But I don't think it's as skeptical and cynical as I am about the coaches and the administrators. That ain't changing the fact that there's a lot that everybody got to get right about this.
If you're a coach or an administrator and you watch the Bomani Jones show or you watch the Ringer Tailgate show, here's what I want you to do. Advocate for collective bargaining. That's what I want you to do. But let's formalize this. Like, let's make this a more equitable and stable system for everybody. You can do that instead of getting on TV and complaining and hoping that your daddy Trump is going to come in and save you. You can
so basically what you're saying though, and this is the biggest sticking point, is make the players employees.
I mean, bro. They getting paid now. I mean, they are employees.
I understand you. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying, but that's to put that in other terms.
Yeah.
That is what there is. But I'm going to tell you this, though. Collective bargaining for all of these children, you want to talk about herding cats. This is...
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, football, like pro football, for example, they can barely get anything done because they basically have 4 different classes of players.
Right.
Who are the members that vote for this? How do you decide who's going to be in charge of all of this? Like, I agree with you that is the best solution. I think that people who say that undersell what it'll take to arrive at said solution. And all of this has happened because instead of planning for this over the years, they just kicked the can. And now it's such an unwieldy mess that I don't know how you wind up fixing it. But I know
this doesn't seem sustainable. This doesn't seem any easier. You know what I mean? So we might as well start moving and advocating toward what is inevitable. Don't you think that is actually inevitable? Like what we're talking about, that they're just going to formalize these working relationships and make them employees. Like that's going to happen eventually. And every day that they don't push for that, we're wasting time.
Yeah, but I have no idea when that day is actually going to come because I don't know what it'll take to arrive at that place. I mean, look, they just got to a place where teaching assistants could unionize, right?
Yeah, right.
But this collective bargaining would need to take, is it on a school level? Is it on a national level?
Sure.
Like when you envision it, because we saw what happened with Northwestern tried to go down that road. These games were never intended to be about this much money.
Mm-hmm.
That's really fundamentally what it comes down to, is that the economies that have sprouted up around this were never intended to be what they are.
That's right. The thing is, that is true. But now that it is, I don't just want the coaches, and I don't just want the athletic directors and all the little patronage jobs that the mostly black athletes never have access to. They don't very few of them get to go on and be the assistant athletic director or this person working in the athletic department or whatever. And so like now that football has grown and it has become this huge $1 billion industry, I want them to get every dollar that they're owed, because I know that they're going to have to claw it out of the people's hands and out of their banks. So that's what I want.
I hope they get it too. I just need you. I don't know how much you a Domino's player.
So
just say no.
No, look, I'm just let me tell you a story. I'm gonna shout out my boy, and you know him because you work with him at that Fuddruckers.
Hey, it's a yes or no question, brother.
I don't play regularly.
Okay,
I've beaten people.
I just need just 5 words. Just 5 words.
It's counting, but okay.
All money ain't good money.
Fair. But I want money though. But I hear
all money ain't good money.
Let me figure out what part of the money is going to be bad.
That's hey, look, everybody has the right to make bad decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just be feeling like you be trying to defend bad decisions just because you don't like the other people.
I don't like the other people, but also like let me have the money and then we'll figure it out from there. I want the money first. It's better for me to have the money.
But if you have to make a bad decision in order to get the money and figure it out, the figure it out part needed to happen before the money sometimes.
Yeah. I just don't want the money. Give me the money. Yeah, I say this to somebody who's broke, so maybe that's my.
I can't even lie. I wasn't gonna say it out loud.
Yeah, I'm broke.
I was like, yes.
I'm talking as a broke person.
I was about to sound so hardy. Ha ha ha. Listen to that broke Negro mentality.
I'm just saying, look, man, everybody can't go to Barbados. You know what I'm saying?
It's easy for me. Oh man, and that Barbados trip, I'd scoff at that now. It's easy. It's easy for me to be looking at people being like, "All money ain't good money, though." Right?
Yeah, right. I'm saying,
they're like, "Yeah, I bet it ain't. I bet it ain't." Well, give me some of your bad money then, dog. How about that?
That's what I'm saying. $15,000 changed my life. I would take it right now.
$15,000 would change your month.
Yeah, that would be. I would appreciate that month a lot. But
yeah, you would. I know. I understand. Joel Addison. Check him out on the Ringer Tailgate. Check him out on the Press Box. Hopefully, by the time you get around to checking him out, he will have stopped.
I invented it. I can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a gimmick. I get it.
Look, it's okay.
I'm not as famous as Bomani. I ain't never had an HBO show. I ain't never. You know what I'm saying? I've never been in rooms with people.
I used to carry the big gold belt on national television. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's game recognized game. Okay, right. It's not. I'm just telling you that we need to get you something a little bit stronger.
You don't like to
raise the roof.
You don't like to raise the roof? Okay.
But it's not even just the raise. If you were doing the 2-hand raise the roof, maybe that would be one thing. But you got a whole wind up. You do the Dante Culpepper, and then you raise the roof.
There's a story behind that, because the 2-hand one is not the original, not the version that I found it, and it was perverted, and when it went national. But on the south side of Houston, they know.
Who is they?
They. South side of Houston. Shout out Drumsticks. Shout out Jamaica. Shout out Oasis. Shout out
Joe.
Is it Chockatown? Chockatown's on the north side.
Chockatown's on the north side.
Yeah.
You remember Bust Down?
Bust Down,
dude from New Orleans who had that song Nasty.
Oh yeah.
I once saw him at Chocolate Town. I was 17 years old. I saw him at Chocolate Town. He was opening for Slim Thug.
Oh man, see.
Who was also 17. I would like to point out.
You had no business being in there, man.
Like I said, Slim Thug was performing and he was also 17.
I mean, it was man, we didn't even say nothing about Michael 5,000 watts, dog.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Michael 5,000 watts, man.
Let me say, the importance of 5,000 watts, that whole Swisher House thing was legitimizing that North Side life in a way that really hadn't happened up until that point, right? And it wasn't like there wasn't rappers that was from the North Side, right?
Oh, yeah.
But having Swisher House, game change.
Yeah. I think it brought the city together in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Overall, Swisher House had better rappers.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll accept that. We all Houston.
There you go.
Man.
Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Hakeem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I completely forgot about this. And we're patching this into the podcast. I don't even know where we're patching it in, but I'm going to ask everybody this until I get bored with it. Joel, what would be the funniest name to turn up in the Epstein files? I say Tim Tebow.
Oh, wow. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. You know, it wouldn't be funny, but I would love to see him have to talk to Tom Brady. I would love to see Tom Brady have to talk.
You're right. It wouldn't be funny. It would be, ooh.
Like, Tom.
Hey, I tell you this. Oh, I forgot. Epstein was the Democrat. Because I was about to say, it's a little bit surprising Bill Belichick ain't turned up in there.
I mean, a lot of his homies in there.
We could play this game for the rest of our lives. Funny names to turn up in the Epstein file.
Look, man, I've been going through it just every now and again. Like, let me put that name in there.
I got one. Lou Holtz.
Oh man. Man, and you know what? That is his crew.
That's his squad.
That's his squad. Man, look, because he was on some America First thing with folks. So yeah.
That man lost his job doing a commercial for Jesse Helms.
I mean, man, he has died in the wool for this shit, bro. Like and look, and the funny thing about this, for people that don't know, he just lost his job at Arkansas. It was a different time. Well, for one, they wanted to fire him anyway. I think that's the important note. But also, don't forget, Lou Holtz brought black-ass, Prop 48-ass Tony Rice to win a national championship at Notre Dame and hired Charlie Strong as defensive coordinator in South Carolina in 2001. I say all that to say, it's just a little weird out here in these football streets. People are complicated.
It's weird in these streets, but
People are complicated. I got a homeboy that played for Holtz in the 90s. He's from Missouri City. He's a legend. Jimmy Friday. That's right. And I hope I'm not talking out of school, Jimmy, but I think it's complicated, like how he feels about Lou Holtz.
Yep. But hey, keep thinking. Next time I'll ask you for another Epstein name. I'm going to start preparing people for this.
I'll be ready for it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 4 times a week. Ryan Brumley handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit the voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. And we'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.